Hello and welcome. New Zealand has done the unthinkable. We have been whitewashed 3-0 in a home test series, which has never happened in the history of Indian cricket. The context of doing this video is very simple, that probably what went wrong, trying to discuss that or trying to share what I feel went wrong, and what's the way back or what's the way forward from this debacle. And also, I want to discuss primarily what I really think is about our new coach, Gautam Gambhir. So, what he brings into the table. So, firstly, I think the biggest disappointment for me from this series is, and this has been happening for quite some time in Indian Test cricket or Indian cricket in general for the last few years. That is, I am completely shocked with the kind of pitches that are being dished out in Indian home series. So this is happening time and time again. I do not know. I mean, apart from the rain intervention, I can very faintly recollect a test match which has went till the fifth day in Indian conditions recently. The Hyderabad test that happened against England probably comes to my mind. I do not know whether there was rain interruption or not, but very few, one or two probably instances here and there. But otherwise, the norm recently has been that a test match finishes within 2, 3, at max 4 days. My idea of test cricket in India has always been that we will, or the conditions would be very good for batting in the first 2 or 3 days. Eventually, the pitch will disintegrate, and then on the 4th and 5th day, the spinners will heavily come into play. That's why toss was a big factor. Captains tried to avoid batting fourth on such conditions and things like that. However, now the situation seems to be that you tend to have the ball spinning right from day one. And there's a consistent theme, and I do not know who is responsible or who is calling the shots for this, but this has time and again come back as boomerang for Indian cricket. Something similar happened to us in that fateful 2019-2023 World Cup semi-final. The final in Ahmedabad. I still believe that we as a team, as a one-day unit, and the way that we were playing were better than the Australian team on a true sporting wicket probably, where there's equal favouring for bat and ball. However, the pitch that was dished out or that was prepared in Ahmedabad and on that day, I think it just made things more difficult for Indian batsmen. And that is where my problem lies, because I for one feel that we are so skilled right now as a team in all our units, be it spin, pace bowling, batting, in terms of all these things, that we are far more likely to outdo our opposition in true sporting pitches than a skewed pitch where it's probably favoring the pacers or spinners, or there is more swing movement. I think it just brings the opposition bowling attack, which might not be as heavily skilled as us, brings into the game much more. And that's why we see the likes of Mitchell Santner, Ajaz Patel, Stephen O'Keefe, all these Monty Panesar, all these people suddenly becoming prime bowlers and prime spinners and wreaking havoc in Indian conditions. And that is very, very concerning and very disappointing as well as an Indian cricket fan, because everyone takes advantage of home series, home conditions. And we for the fact know right now that we are not very good players of spin bowling at the moment. And whatever the history might be, I know gone are the days when people like Tendulkar, Dravid, Lakshman, risky players, Saurav Ganguly, they used to much more comfortable using their feet and coming down the track against spinners and things like that. But having said that, I do not think for one that the pitches used to be as abrasive in nature as they have been in the recent past. So I do feel that this is a challenge, and this is something that needs to be rectified immediately, because we are a much more balanced unit right now. And I think one of the reasons, and again there's a BGT that's right in front of us, but I think one of the several reasons for which we were successful in the last two Australian tours was because we as a team are now more confident in playing on a deck which is consistent bounce, consistent carry, the ball comes onto the bat, and that is one of the reasons for the success. So, all things said, I think there's a lot of criticism already happening on Rohit, Kohli, the entire Indian batting. I, for one, again think that even the bowling has not been lived up to the mark. I think we should go back to those days or go back to such situations where we would have 4-day, 5-day tests. We would have good batting conditions for the first 2 days. And I believe even if we lose the toss, I think our bowlers are skilled enough to outbowl the opposition or to take 10 wickets or 20 wickets in such pitches. That's one point. The other thing that I wanted to touch upon was regarding the appointment of Gautam Gambhir. I know it's still very early days, but there has been a trend in Indian cricket again in the very recent times that we have been heavily influenced by what goes on in the Indian Premier League. I think Gautam Gambhir, straight away, the moment Dravid decided to end his tenure, we say that who's the next available IPL winning coach? There's Gautam Gambhir, and we just got him on board. Now, similar thing happens with the players as well. Nitish Reddy gets fast-tracked, Shivam Dube gets fast-tracked, gets drafted into the World Cup squad. Something similar happened with Varun Chakravarti, Ravi Bishnoi. All those players, whoever gets into the limelight during IPL, seems to be fast-tracked into the Indian national team setup. Something similar happened with the coach as well, and Gautam Gambhir got the appointment. And I'm in no way questioning the pedigree of Gautam Gambhir, the coach, because it's still early days. So not at all going in those lines, but I'm just trying to think that what led to this decision and what are the typical things. Now, the reason why I'm even talking about this is that with the limited scope that we have seen or limited things that we have seen for Gautam Gambhir as the head coach of India, I think we have lost a series, one-day series in Sri Lanka. I think that also happened after a very long period. Now we have lost to New Zealand, which is the first of a kind in our history. It's a 3-0 series, home series defeat. Never happened. Whereas if you look at the T20 series, I think there was one series against Sri Lanka, one against Bangladesh, probably not the best of opponents. I think we'll get a much more clearer view, although Gambhir is not going to South Africa, but in coming series and times. But the situation or the results, at least as of now, seems to show or seems to tell us that the results in the T20 or the shorter format has been far better for Gautam Gambhir than in the comparatively longer formats, be it ODI or tests. So this is something that's of concern, or this is something maybe not concern immediately, but this is something that probably needs to be looked at, or things that even Gautam Gambhir would want to probably improve upon in the coming days. Now, the other thing which surprised me when Gautam Gambhir took upon this role was that from whatever I have read and observed and learned about Gautam Gambhir, I have developed an opinion that he is a man of very strong opinions, right? And he is not someone who will take anything lying down. He will confront if something he feels is not right and things like that. Now, when Gambhir took the coaching assignment, it is a very difficult or very tricky phase, if I may call so, for Indian cricket, right? There are a few superstars who are in the wrong side of their 30s, be it Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli, Ashwin, Jadeja, a lot of people, even Shami is aging, so a lot of people. So we would have a transition in Indian cricket sooner or later, right? With that in mind, and considering the larger than life superstar images of Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma in particular, I would have thought that Gambhir would have probably laid down some of his own terms and conditions before agreeing to the coaching position with BCCI. What I mean by that whether if certain things do not work out the way Gambhir would like, I think Gambhir would want to build the team in his own way. We are already seeing signs of that transition happening in T20 cricket. Rohit and Virat obviously decided to voluntarily retire after the T20 World Cup win. So we have seen that although Hardik Pandya was billed to be the next captain in charge. He was the vice captain in the World Cup winning squad as well, but Gambhir brought in Surya Kumar Yadav as the captain. Now that is the Gambhir that I know, because he will take decisions. He will, even for KKR in the last IPL, if you would have seen that Sunil Narine was made the opener all of a sudden once again after 3-4 years. So that is the T20I coaching that Gambhir is doing for the last couple of series. I think I can relate more with that Gautam Gambhir, the individual, the coach that I know. In Test and One Day cricket, I think I do not know what Gambhir has plans or what Gambhir is planning, but right now it seems very unlikely that India would qualify for the WTC final in the next year. There is a Champions Trophy that's upcoming again in similar timeline. As of now, Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli, everybody is supposed to play in that one day trophy. I would be very, very interested to see what transpires based on the results that are happening. If at all India does not qualify for the WTC final, as it seems likely right now, what is in fate for Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli? If India does not win the Champions Trophy in 2025, whether Rohit Sharma and Virat will continue in the ODI setup as well. Now, this is where I think Gautam Gambhir needs to walk the talk. For years, Gautam Gambhir has been a very, very great advisor, if I may say so. I mean, he has always been talking about that the game is beyond superstars. It's not one person who wins you games. There's no need to glorify individuals and things like that. I think it is finally time for Gambhir, and he has the opportunity right now to show to the world that he means business. If Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli is not performing up to the marks, is not meeting the standards that he sets probably, in that case, whether Gambhir would be brave enough, bold enough to make those calls, take those decisions and say to the team or probably to the individuals that, you know what, I think it's time to move on. And that is what I feel is the thing to observe, or what unfolds in that scenario is something that would be very, very intriguing to see. For now, I think all we can hope for is that we have a very good BGT, the Border Gavaskar Trophy in Australia. It's a 5-match test series, so a lot in line over there, including the World Test Championship final. As well as, I think the other thing that's there is obviously the T20 series that's there under Surya's captaincy in South Africa. So few things lined up. There's also IPL auction coming up. I would probably try to be a little more regular with the videos in the next few months. But with that in mind, it's a sad day for Indian cricket. Something that has never happened has happened today. But there's always light at the end of the tunnel. So with that hope in mind, I conclude today, and thank you for watching, and please don't forget to like, share and subscribe the channel.